Hello, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 10:33 a.m. on January 24th, 2023. I'm going to begin with a territorial land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up to these nations, and we are currently situated on occupied territories. Now I'm going to go into the roll call of attendance. So for myself, I'm the acting VP Finance and Services, and I'm chair of this meeting. My name is Rasco. My pronouns are he, him, his. As for my access needs, this is the first time I'm chairing a meeting. So yeah, just bear in mind that. Next, I'm going to go to our vice chair, the philosophy counselor.
Hey everyone, I'm the Vice Chair of SPOC, the Philosophy Counselor. My name is Ashley Flett, they, she, V pronouns, and all my access needs are met for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. So after we're going to go to our ex officio.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby, he, him pronouns. Access needs are met, but I will have to leave around 11:15, 11:20.
Next, I'm just going to note that Peter Hens, our acting VP Internal and Organizational Development, is not here due to a class conflict. I'm going to go to the psychology counselor. Mark does not appear to be here at this time, so I'm just going to skip now to society staff. So facilities manager.
Hi all, John here, pronouns he, him, his, and all my access needs are met.
And our building coordinator.
Hi there, my name's Jenny, pronouns she, her, access needs are met.
All right, great. So next I'm going to go into the consent agenda. So the motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. In it, we have to receive and file the meeting minutes for the last SPOC meeting. Does anyone object to the consent agenda? All right, that carries unanimously. Now we're on to the adoption of the agenda. So if anyone wants to add anything onto the agenda, now would be the, oh, sorry.
You need a mover and seconder first.
Yeah, so, yeah, thank you. So adoption of agenda. So be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. I will move. Can I get a second?
Philosophy.
Thank you, philosophy. So if anyone wants to add anything onto the agenda, now is your time to list. So I don't see anyone in the chat. We're going to, I'm going to ask that the agenda, sorry. We're going to move to consider the agenda unanimously. Okay, hold up. Sorry. So, yeah. Yes, you may go ahead, Ashley.
I might be mistaken, but I recall reading, I'm just pulled up the email now that you said you would amend something onto the agenda on behalf of John. Am I mistaken about this, or was it already added on there? I just missed it.
No, I think it's just a discussion item.
Yeah,
that's
it's
there.
a discussion item. Yeah.
Oh, it's already there? Okay, good. Just want to double check to make sure everything was all good. Never mind that, ignore me.
It's already there. Yeah, and sorry for yeah, sorry for all the confusion. So if no one else is listing, we're going to have a vote on this. I'll be asking for unanimous consent. If you want to abstain or dissent, please raise your hand in the Zoom feature. Seeing none, the agenda gets carried. So we're going to go into our first discussion item, submitted by myself. It's subsystem issues. And I believe this is something John wanted to speak to, so I'm going to give him priority.
Thanks, Roscoe. To make it easier for the minute takers, I'll probably just kind of give a heading and then a few points on things, and I'll stop. And then if anyone has any questions before going into the next one. I just thought it would be good to formalize some of the things that are going on around the building through SPOC and actually have it recorded here at a meeting, and some of the issues that we're working through. I do give regular updates to executive, and we have like management check meetings with the president also, but just to get it out in the open forum here. So one thing at the moment is our fire suppression system. So anybody who was in the building last week or just the Thursday before last week, you'll notice the fire alarm did go off. The cause of that activation was low pressure in the fire suppression system. So what we found is that the compressor, so the unit that's pumping air through the system to keep it pressurized, actually failed. And then along with that, we do have some leaks in the system in different areas, mostly located around the level 1000 loading bay area, and that we're working through. So just that people are aware of that we did have an issue with the compressor and that there is leaks in the system for the fire suppression system. And we are working through that at the moment. So I'll just open up for any questions that people might have on that one before I move on to some of the other things that are going on.
Also, I see that Mark joined. So if you just want to type in the chat introducing yourself, your pronouns, any access needs. I see Abby listed. Go ahead.
Sorry, I thought sounded like Mark was gonna say his intro. I don't want to interrupt him, so that's okay.
Oh no, it's fine, Abby. Just go ahead. I'll just type it in the chat.
Okay, thanks. I was gonna say thanks for the update, John. Is there like, I know some of us like park by like the loading bay down there. Should we like not be parking there now, or is it like okay to still like be there?
Yeah, no, there's no problem with anything there. And really with the leaks, what it is just that when the pressure goes from the system, there might be like a spray of water that comes down. So I'm talking about the rear of the building, like by the AQ loading bay, Abby. So if you were, if you were to walk out there, you would see there is some staining in kind of like the concrete that's there. And that's because of the old water that's been sitting in the system getting released. It usually captures color the longer it sits there. So it's no harm to anybody or anything. It's just an awareness, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to list. I have a question for John. Where is this maintenance taking place? Is it in the mechanical room on level 1000?
Yeah, so the compressor itself is located in the mechanical room on level 1000, so that has been swapped out. And then the systems, like where it all runs from, comes from there too. But then your fire suppression system is actually all around the building. It's where you see the sprinkler heads, like in all the different areas. But the ones that are problematic at the moment are out in the loading bay of level 1000. So it's external to the building for the actual sprinkler heads or the seals that are problematic.
Thank you, John.
All right. I'll move on to the next one, just that people are aware of this too. We have had some issues with the occupancy sensors and then also the commissioning of, like, again, the mechanical system here. So like usually when you commission, you do like balancing for air and for water, and it's basically just getting the set points right, the pressure and different things like that, that moves everything around the building. And we have had issues with that. And we've also noticed issues with our occupancy sensors, like the little devices in each room that activate air conditioning or lighting. There's been problems with them too. So what we're looking at doing is kind of recommissioning, because we don't think that this was fully commissioned the way it should have been. And there is a project proposal getting put together to bring back in commissioning consultants to actually get us to like a level playing field where we should have been when the building first opened, but just with COVID and all the messing around and things like that, and then the low occupancy in the building, we just never really got there. So that's just a piece of information to kind of let people know. What we've also done too is that, like, we haven't fully closed out the capital project yet, but we have made sure that we have accounted for any of this expenditure that might come down the line that's associated with things that, in my opinion, should have been covered at substantial completion and in the capital project, that there will still be money left from the budget of the capital project to address these things. So it won't be anything extra, because the idea is that these should have been covered in the first place. So it will come from effectively what was already budgeted for the capital project. but it's just that people are aware that you might see a proposal. When I get the figures, we'll probably take it to council so that everybody can see exactly what we're doing. So that one's just for recommissioning and balancing around the building, to summarize it. So I'll open it up if there's any questions on that.
Thank you once again, John, for the update. I think what I might do for future SPOC meetings is maybe put out a recurring discussion item regarding just capital project update.
Yeah, if
If you would be in favor of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, so one other thing just for people to be aware of too is that we did complete the replacement of all of the damaged trench heater units. So that was predominantly up in level 5000 in the ballroom area. And then there was one more unit in 4200 in our board meeting room. So they have been replaced. There was a small issue with the DDC, so just like the electronic controls, but we've addressed that now as well. So that's back fully functional. So we have heating in those spaces again, and it's working fine. As with everything else though, when we took this on, we've discovered other issues. So this is also quite significant. And again, this will go to council when I get a full proposal for it. But what we found when we started to address these units is that we've failures in valves, mainly isolation valves. So the way that the water flows through the building is that like it all comes from like one point and then it stems to like different floors. But on each floor, you'll have areas where you have valves that you'll be able to isolate the flow of water to prevent it from going to the next floor if you ever need to do any work or if you ever have a leak on the next floor up. And so upon re-engaging the system up on level 5000, and we've noticed that the valves were extremely stiff. And it's most likely due to there being an inadequate building flush at the start and then sediment building up in the water itself and then sitting on the valves when they were closed for so long. This is a concern because if we were to have a leak up on level 5000 at the moment, we don't know about the integrity of those valves if we needed to actually isolate that floor again. So it would mean that you'd end up having to isolate the entire building to deal with a leak on a specific floor, which is not ideal. So there is a project request gone in to investigate the valves on the 4th floor that isolate for the 5th. But as part of this project, we'll probably end up looking at all of the valves around the building and just doing a preliminary inspection. Because we need to be aware of the integrity of those valves. We need to make sure that we can rely on them when we need them. So we are aware that we need to replace the ones that are on level 4 that service level 5000. But as part of that, let's also look at the other valves around the building in case there's issues there too. This again will be a project request. And then when I get the quotations that come back from this, we'll take it to council so that everybody is aware of what the total expenditure would be for this also. So I'll take a break on that one. And then if there's any questions, I'll answer them before moving on to the next one.
So if anyone wants to listen and ask John something about this, now's your time. Oh, all right. John, you can talk more.
Next one that's kind of ongoing at the moment is we have had 9 pieces of canopy glass on the south side of the building broken. The glass itself is 2 layers, so it's like 6 mils with a little bit of air in between, like insulated glass. So the structural integrity is fine, like it still holds the snow, it's not going to fall on top of anyone, it's not dangerous, but we will eventually have to replace it. Given the fact that it is 9 pieces, it's quite substantial. So we are in the process of color matching, glass matching, and getting a proposal together. We've had some samples sent out. The samples have been approved. And what we're waiting on now is a complete proposal for replacement. And when that does come in, again, that will be taken to council just so you're aware and that you can see the figures. But it's just that people are aware that we do have pieces of broken canopy glass, 9 of them at the moment on the south side of the building. And we will be getting a proposal together to replace them. I think that's pretty much the big ones for now.
So Mark, you may go ahead. You're listed.
Oh, yeah, I just have a question. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to direct response for that or if listing is fine.
List is fine.
Yeah. Do we know why that has happened to the canopy glass? Is there a single reason behind that, or is it just several different reasons?
Yeah, so with the canopy glass specifically, so I can tell you what I've been told. So I've been told that it is definitely effectively vandalism, that it's people up on the Shrum building throwing rocks, and that's been breaking the glass, that you can see signs of impact. I can tell you what my concern was. So my concern prior to us being told by Glazers that was the case was that it was incorrect installation, or else that it was a weakness in the glass itself. So with hardened glass, it goes through a certain process where they basically put nickel sulfur into it to strengthen the glass itself, and you can get what you call like a nickel sulfur inclusion in the glass. It is rare, but it does happen, and it's a weakness. And usually how you identify that in the glass is that when it breaks, it goes in like a butterfly pattern. And I have seen signs of that in the glass itself. So the official response back that we got was that it was vandalism. And on the front of the vandalism, to address that, we're looking at potentially having a camera installed on a different building that looks over towards where the canopy is. And there's also potentially going to be a glass canopy installed on some of the other buildings around here to prevent roof access, which should hopefully minimize that. So that's where we're at with that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I just want to list, so I believe SFU is actually putting up some fencing for on top of the Shrum, guess that's Shrum building, to prevent roof access on it.
Yeah, so what I believe they're doing is they're putting on a glass facade, so you'll see like a little bit of a glass like fringe coming around the roof to prevent people from climbing up on top of it. But I'm just not sure if that project, because that would be an SFU one if it is 100% confirmed, but that's what was discussed, and that was the route they were going to go down.
Yeah, the other day when I was walking past, I noticed that they installed, I believe, some studs there. But yeah, that's what I saw. So they're making some progress, I think.
And there's actually one other one just to add, just that people are aware too. We did have one piece of glass break internal in the building, level 5,000 on the south side of the building. So just when you come out of the elevators, you would see that we kind of have an area cordoned off there. And so we have that glass being priced at the moment. And the lead time on it is probably about 4 to 5 weeks after we accept the pricing. And then it will be the same people who installed the glass that has the scaffolding outside the building that will replace the glass internal too. But when we get the pricing on that, we'll pass it forward if it needs to go to SPOC or council, depending on the price itself. But just that people are aware that that is work in progress as well.
Thank you, John. Very insightful. Does anyone have anything else to say? If not, if you're going to be going on to our next discussion, it's going to be in camera, the title being Order Fulfillment. So I'm going to, motion reads as follows: be it resolved to go in camera for the remainder of the meeting. I will move this. Do I have a seconder?
Acting President.
I'll get that to Abby as a Abby will be seconding this. So I'm just going to pause the recording and yes. So it is now 11:08. We're back X camera, considering the motion to be it resolved to go X camera. I will move. Do I have a second?
Acting President.
Acting President Abby seconds. So now I guess we can go to adjournment. So the motion reads as follows: be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 11:09 a.m. Oh, Abby has point of order. Abby, you may
Sorry, did we take a vote on going X camera? I might have missed it.
Sorry. Oh yeah, we didn't. I'm sorry. I messed that up.
You're good.
Okay, so we already moved and seconded, so I'm just gonna seek unanimous consent on going X camera. If you like to abstain or dissent, you can raise a hand in Zoom. Seeing no dissent, we're going to move to Go X camera now. And next thing we have is adjournment. So the motion reads as follows: be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 11:10 a.m. Do I have a mover?
Acting president.
Thank you, Abby. Abby moves. Do I have a seconder?
Philosophy.
Thank you. Thank you, philosophy. So I'm going to we're going to consider this by unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing no dissent, we're going to move to adjourn this meeting at 11:10 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
Good job, Roscoe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. First time chairing. I'll try to improve this for next time.